Hi, welcome to Revenue Marketing Television, the CMO Insights series. I am your host, Jeff Pedowitz, President and CEO of the Pedowitz Group. Today, we have my good friend and customer, Jeanne Hopkins, who is Chief Marketing Officer at Ipswitch. Jeanne, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Hi.
Great to be here, Jeff. Thank you.
We've been spending a lot of time together lately.
I know, huh?
I think we first met, it was probably about 2004, 2005. And
Way
right.
back.
Yeah, I think you were sitting in the back row, but you were very,
Always.
you were a great student. Even then.
Well,
Um,
I asked you a lot of questions, and I remember that, and you were being very patient with me because I was working for a company called Symmetricom at the time, and we had 5 different divisions and different sales needs, different marketing needs, and I was trying to figure out how to be able to support those individual sales organizations in the best possible way, and you were very, very patient with me, so I thank you for that.
Thank you. Being married, 3 kids, I guess you got to learn it somewhere, right? So 14 years later, what's changed, do you think, the most? Because you were CMO back then, and you've had a couple great opportunities in between, but what's changed the most, do you think, in 14 years?
I think there's definitely a consensus within different organizations that there has to be complete sales and marketing alignment. A lot of these organizations are typically build up a fairly large sales organization, but marketing hasn't figured out how to support them, how to segment the database, how to be able to actively support the sales organization in hitting their objectives. And I think that most CEOs and most boards are looking to marketing not as a Marcom function, but as a demand creation function to be able to deliver pipeline. And I think 14 years ago, what you were working on in terms of the concept of automating certain aspects of marketing to be able to make it work faster and be able to tie it to specific results is really happening now. But I think, like most things, there's different kinds of marketers, and a lot of marketers are very comfortable in the promotion aspect or being arts and crafts marketers, where they get all hung up on the design of a website, the design of a logo, the design of a data sheet, and they don't think about the effect of what you're doing. So you end up spending time on things that perhaps are not delivering the best possible results and not really fully understanding the concept of lead management or customer marketing, if you will, that we really need to spend more time as marketers to be able to think, how do you keep your customers? How do you get a customer? How do you keep a customer? And those are, I'm going to just say those things have changed dramatically because most SaaS companies now, they're all about reducing churn. You want your customers to stick with you. So in my environment at Ipswitch, we sell perpetual licenses. So somebody can buy a license, and what you want is you want them to have maintenance to be able to come back and get the updated product. Well, how do you communicate that effectively? And those are some of the challenges, I think. Having sales not just be 100% marketing fed, which is what they expect. You always hear the statement, the leads suck and I want more of them. And that
Never heard that before at all.
Never heard that before. Never heard that. But on the other hand, you're trying to say, man, you can't just keep cherry picking leads. It's sometimes there's so many leads and the cadence for salespeople hasn't been firmly established because a lot of sales managers are used to doing things an old way. So you could be 35 years old and you could have been selling for 13 years, but the world has changed, just like you were saying, 13, 14, 15 years. Things have changed in 5 years. Things have changed in 2 years. If you look at what's happening now with all the conversational chatbots that are on the website, people are moving faster. If you cannot miss an opportunity to be able to have a warm handoff to sales from some sort of a marketing campaign.
And that was
great. A lot. Sorry, Jeff.
No, I was just smiling because as always, when I ask you a question, you usually not only answer it, but then you answer 4 other questions I was probably going to ask. So it's great. So tell me what's going on at Ipswitch in terms of, you mentioned a little bit about trying to find the balance of really marketing to long-term existing customers, but what are some of your other strategic priorities for 2018?
Well, it's an excellent question, Jeff. And you know that you've been part of the transformation here, that we brought you on board just about a year ago, a little under a year ago, to help us take two legacy instances of Salesforce. One was for our network monitoring product, and one was for our secure file transfer products. Both of those legacy instances of Salesforce had been highly customized. I mean, over 50%, both of them, but they were not done in the same way. So, I mean, as you painfully are aware, the way you put in states, the way that you created opportunities, everything was totally different. And we had to take those two, plus they were synced to two legacy instances of Marketo, and they were synced to two legacy instances of partner portals or partner finders. And the best thing of all was we used a tool called Scribe to talk to everything, and also pulling from our license server to be able to deliver that to the end customer. So with your help, we took a look at the lead management. What was optimized? What did we want to happen from a lead management standpoint, so that when we did the one Salesforce and the one Marketo, we were able to have it meet the requirements of the business on a longer term scale. Very painful process, lots of input, as you know, and we've had to, unfortunately, some of the things that were mandated by members of the sales organization they're not really best practices. So we've had to go back and rework them. And team members, Colby specifically, has been saying, now that you have a new sales leadership, we have the opportunity to be able to do this better. So we have created PQLs, and that's not a state that we're working on anymore. We want to get the leads into the hands of the sales organization faster without throwing them into a queue for them to, molder away or whatever. We want it to go faster, faster, faster. And it's happening. And that transformation, we clicked the button back in October, as you know. We worked in November and December, and now coming into January, we have a very strong relationship with the North American sales leadership, the new head of sales, and we can do segmented email sends, win-back campaigns, whatever, to a segment, and then that list gets loaded into the salesperson's name, and then they do a call blitz over the course of the 3 days. And what's happened? Well, pipeline. What's happened is pipeline. And for the first time, network monitoring coverage, as an example, pipeline coverage, as recently as October, pipeline coverage was about 1.6. So that means that of the goal for the quarter, we only had in created opportunities 1.6 of that, which is lousy. You really want 3 as at a minimum, right? And so we ended up yesterday coming out of a pipeline meeting, and our pipeline coverage for North America network monitoring is 3.6. And that's just absolutely amazing. And then in the meeting, we also, one of our team members, he said, well, do you think that we should take the forecast up? And I mean, when have you heard, like, it's going so well that we're going to take the forecast up? And that's just the best possible news, I think. And it's great. And, I'm working with a reduced budget. I don't have additional headcount. I mean, it sounds painful, but I have $6.3 million of my budget, and that's a lot of money, but it's global. And and tied into that of the 6.3 is 2.8 million is all headcount on a global basis. So, the rest of it has to be, the infrastructure, the programs, and it can't be paid media. I mean, just everything that we're trying to do, Marketo, everything in our tech stack to be able to deliver the results for the sales organization.
So, Jeanne, I'm curious because, you got a lot of marketing executives here, and drive better performance, get better ROI, you'll get your budget should increase the year over year. So in your case, you're crushing it. The forecast is going up. Are there some additional challenges you're facing as to why your budget got impacted, as opposed to them investing even more in the marketing organization?
Well, I think what I've had to do is I took from the back half of the year and pushed it into the front half of the year, because if we have a good 1H 2018, I feel confident I can go back to the board and ask for funding for the back half because I need to set up 2019. But just running at steady state without being able to juice up the numbers and be able to fill the lead pipeline or the demand pipeline for the sales organization, we couldn't just keep going the way that we were going. So we have been testing some paid opportunities, but the good news is because we spent so much of 2017 working on SEO, working on product reviews. So you needed to get to 150 product reviews before Google would start putting stars on your search findings. And now we have the stars, and we're close to 200 reviews right now, product reviews using a variety of different website tools, G2 Crowd, Capterra, Trustpilot, all those guys. And now we're getting that more visibility for us. So we're also able to reduce the cost of an MQL creation, an eval, that sort of thing. We're being more efficient, and it's happening across the board on a global basis, which is really awesome. So the challenges I'm faced with is, right now I'm looking for $50,000, right? So $50,000 so that I can I need to fund a retainer, and I'm trying to find $50,000, and I'm kind of like walking around with a cup to the various my peers to be able to say, please donate, and it's because it's important for the business, right? But the company here has always spent on the back end, the back office stuff, the R&D, the IT support, all that kind of stuff, but the front end has not really been sufficiently rewarded. Now, in 2016, I came at the end of that year. They were spending $100,000 a month on Google AdWords for network monitoring. And I can show you that those were not translating into opportunities. They just weren't, because there's part of it was a sales organization, part of it. So they were looking at spending a lot of money in order to juice up MQLs, but that's not how you did it. So we spent 2018 with 2017 with SEO, content creation, working on our blogs, making sure that we had more visibility. So that's pretty much the challenge is, can we keep it up? Can we keep driving efficiencies? Because I'm not convinced that paid media is the way out, right? We need to get found more, but we need to move faster. I was talking this morning that we have a Drift implementation, and I had it installed, the application, on my phone, and then I have it on my computer as well. And outside of the normal business hours of 9 to 5, we're having visitors to our website that are asking for pricing. And so we're automating, the playbook is automated. Well, somebody get back to you, sort of thing. But I'm saying 7 to 9 a.m., if you're an IT person, a sysadmin, we better have some coverage, and I need to start investing in some coverage for those early hours, because let's face it, everybody is moving faster and faster and faster now.
Absolutely.
Sorry for talking so much.
No, but well, that's the whole point, right? So I ask you questions and you answer them. So that's great.
Gotcha.
No, I just keep smiling because you always answer a question with 7. So I'm like,
I
okay.
love this stuff. It's so great.
Yeah.
It's just so much fun to turn something around, have it be winning, and just it's just great. And I'm so lucky. I have such a great team. I love the people I work with. I love the vendors that I get to work with. I learn constantly. I've learned so much from you and your team just doing this entire implementation, and it's been painful, as you know. And we're working with you right now on re-upping the lead management component of things, and realigning what we're trying to do in terms of the plan. And we're also doing a huge content creation workshop with you to be able to make sure that the content that we're putting into our lead nurturing emails and on our website resonates, so that we can get the conversions. And it's a lot of fun. It really is. So
what advice would you give? And this is going to be one question, because we're almost at time. But a marketing executive coming up, what advice would you give to that person? What should they do to become? I mean, if they're going to become a CMO, they want to become a CMO. What advice would you give them?
I'd tell them to spend a year selling. I'd say you need some sales experience. In order for you to be really good at your job, you need to know how hard it is to sell. And a lot of marketers do not understand. The sales team members have a very difficult time. I mean, so much of it is time management. It's not even the skills. You know, you can have a natural sales personality, but there's always a playbook that you have to be able to follow. And I feel that if more marketing people had sales experience, they would have empathy for the sales organization. And when the sales organization says these leads stink, you know, and then you're sitting on the other side saying, well, no, they don't. But if you've ever had bad leads, you'll feel that pain, because if you don't have the right kind of leads, you're not going to make your quota. You're not going to move into accelerators. You're not going to go to President's Club. So I think a good marketer needs sales experience.
Great advice. Jeanne, as always, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Jeff.
No, it's just great. I have a feeling you're going to get the most stars. So everyone loves listening to you. So thank you again.
Thanks a bunch, Jeff. Appreciate it.
You bet.